Today we're going to talk about the carnivore flu, I know, or the keto flu, but really, once you feel sort of crappy, what to do about it, because there's a lot you guys can do. Welcome everyone to my humble channel. Yes, let's get into it. Carnivore flu, keto flu, are they the same? Just about the same. The only difference is some of you who are doing plants and you have a histamine response to them, then that's a different type of flu, because a lot of you guys are eating mono foods. Don't do that. Rotate your foods. I'm going to do a separate video about meal rotation and what that looks like, but that's the difference between keto and carnivore. They're both high fat. One eats plants, one doesn't. Now, the one who eats plants can get that prebiotic fiber from things like leek or asparagus. The ones who eat carnivore strict, yes, you're not going to be having cellulose. But the carnivore flu would be, what is it? Hello. It is feeling tired on carnivore. It is feeling thirsty, constipated, hair falling out, feeling cold, numbness on the fingertips, and aversion to red meat, loose stool, can't sleep, feeling weak at the gym. And let's go into the reasons why you feel this way and what to do about it. And some people feel like dry. A lot of you guys who are doing a carnivore diet, you are eating too much protein. Now, people think that they are doing a lot of fat or consuming a lot of fat because they're having ribeyes. That's not enough fat. You're not going to get enough fat on a carnivore diet by eating fatty ground beef and a ton of ribeyes. That's not the way to get in the fat. The way to get in the fat is by adding rendered fat. So what kind of fats would that look like? The crazy thing about people doing carnivore is that they don't add rendered fat. Now, some do. And when they add the rendered fat, they're adding like a tablespoon of butter. You're not going to get into ketosis by eating 6 to 20 ounces of meat with a tablespoon of fat. And it sounds absurd with that. So some of the other carnivore flu symptoms would be high iron, ferritin, gout. It's crazy. All of these symptoms, back pain, I forgot to mention that one. And that's dehydration, thirsty. Yeah. Rendered fat is going to help you get in enough fat to reach ketosis. Moderate to low protein. So instead of eating, for example, if you're a woman, you want to have 3 to 4.5 ounces of meat measured, cooked on the plate for your main meals like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. For men, you would have 4 to 6 ounces depending on how active you are and your age and your lean muscle mass. Yeah. You don't have to eat all that protein. Often people stuff themselves with protein because they're hungry. They're like starving, they're fasting. Then when they do eat meat, they overeat it. And I start to see more and more men showing symptoms of gout, showing symptoms of back pain, chronic dehydration, high uric acid levels from all that protein, smelly urine, foamy urine, too much protein. It's a mess because male or female or working out or not, a lot of you guys are coming from the leaky gut world. you do a carnivore diet and you're eating all that protein, and not only are you dehydrated and protein waste products are having to filtrate through the kidneys, which is giving you the back pain, but that high level of uric acid buildup, it's happening to a lot of people, especially men, because they just slam down the meat and do it one time a day. So don't do that. Don't do that. Can't get into ketosis. Split up your meals. A lot of people are developing hypoglycemia on carnivore diets, same as keto, because they're not getting into ketosis with all that protein. The protein's converting back into glucose, and ketones aren't getting high enough or viable enough, and blood sugar's all over the place. Get a glucometer or a glucometer and test your blood sugar. You don't have to believe me, but use the dang glucometer. You will see yourself on just a little bit of too much protein, and you get tired. It's working like sugar. It's converting into sugar what you don't utilize for structure. Yeah, so easy fix, moderate to low, crank up the fat. That's an easy way to fix lethargy, tired, and eating every couple of hours. Easy fix. The dehydration it's not about water. It's not about just drinking water. Your body has to absorb potassium, sodium, and magnesium. And a lot of you with leaky gut are having problems absorbing your minerals. Sometimes you're taking in too much salt. I'm like, how much salt do you take in? I don't know, 2 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons. Oh no. Adding in all that salt, if you add in that much, it's going to push down your potassium, and you're going to feel thirsty. And they're going to drink water, and you're going to drink up to a gallon, and you're still thirsty on carnivore. That's bad. So learn how to balance your minerals. Of course, I love Celtic sea salt. It's very absorbable if you put it under your tongue. Then take a swag of water. Really, really cool. And there's a lot of water in it, moisture, so there is less salt or sodium per gram. So you can go a little bit more on the Celtic salt over the rock salt like Redmond's or Himalayan, which has heavy metals. I digress. Yeah, balance your electrolytes. Don't use Keto, Chow, or Element. They use cheap minerals that are taxing your kidneys. Really nice advertising, super expensive. I really highly suggest to not use complex electrolyte powders. You may be having too much sodium or the wrong type of potassium. Split it up. If you can't tolerate avocados, which some of these gurus are saying don't take avocados. Avocados are amazing. They are filled with monounsaturated fat, not the best to adapt, but good for other things like your brain. High in potassium, fiber. There's a lot of carbs, but there's so much fiber and fat that your glucose doesn't spike because body has to break down the fat and fiber. Get your electrolytes balanced. It's a game changer because a lot of you are having heart palpitations, low blood pressure. Oh my God, I forgot to mention that one. That's because of your electrolytes. Sodium, potassium, don't overdo the salt. Match it with potassium. Yes. So that can come in the form of avocados and be an avivore, or potassium citrate. 400 milligrams is a safe-ish number. 200 in the morning, 200 in the evening of potassium citrate if you don't have a citric acid allergy. Don't skip breakfast. Set your blood sugar. Get it in rhythm. Calm down the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, and thyroid axis by getting in breakfast. You don't want to have inverted cortisol. You want your cortisol rhythm to start in the morning. You don't have to eat a lot, but you have to eat something. A lot of you, once you cut out the carbs put you to sleep often. You have this hypoglycemic reaction, blood sugar plummets. Eating every 3 hours, and starting your day with a small breakfast or a medium-sized breakfast is great to set your hormones for the rest of the day. Your insulin is so important to regulate by eating every couple of hours, even if it's just a bite of something. Now, you can do the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's so contrary to the fasting. But person after person after person start having issues with fasting, especially while doing carnivore, because it's a double whammy when it comes to being dehydrated. You're getting minerals through food, so when you're not eating, sodium, potassium, and we'd rather get our minerals through food rather than the supplementation, unless you have super bad histamine intolerance. I don't recommend all the desiccated like liver. Eat real liver. It's amazing. You're going to get a lot of the zinc and copper you need to heal the gut wall on carnivore rather than just being strict carnivore. Also, like you really shouldn't be doing a carnivore diet without organ meats. It gets kind of dangerous to not do that. You need to get enough vitamin C. You're not going to get that from a ribeye, so you need to get it from organs, right? Because you don't have scurvy. Just saying. Yeah. Fermented foods, that should be its own video. You can't really do raw milk because there's too much sugar and you're trying to reach ketosis. But you can do a kefir. There's still some carbs in there, so be careful. That works more for people who lift because these people have GLUT4 receptors and can uptake the glucose. Go to bed early, follow circadian rhythm. Get your fiber from anything that's a matrix if you're doing strict carnivore, because it's a big mistake not to get at least a matrix like bone marrow, collagen, chicken feed, oxtail. If you're doing, bone marrow in the sense of baked, not the soup. If you're eating the ribeyes again and the ground beef, you're at risk of having kidney issues. I know. High iron issues. I know. And rotate to avoid this carnivore flu, and that would be feeling tired, feeling bloated, feeling heart palpy, having your hair fall out. Women might have menstrual cycle issues on a carnivore diet. They don't realize they're not reaching ketosis. You got to learn how to breathe and get your cortisol down, because once you switch that diet, the body's like, I'm sorry, where are my carbs? Okay, I'm going to frack you up if you don't put the carbs back. In that transitional period, I wouldn't work out intense because you want to try to regulate your blood sugar and insulin. And use a glucometer. If you push your body when you're not adapted on carnivore, fat adapted, your blood sugar is just going to bounce. And then the hair starts falling out. And then the libido drops. And so forth and so on. Also, the dry skin, dry eyes could be thyroid, or it can be a mucin or mucin deficiency from chronic dehydration. Make sure you eat enough fat. And then another carnivore flu symptom is the gallbladder. Bloated, neck pain, radiating pain to the back, greasy stool, pale stool, yellow stool, nausea, and aversion to eating more fat. And just how you do that is get a good, you could go get an ultrasound to see if you've got any stones, or you can assume that you have sludge, and you can do things like malic acid, lemon water, tutka. You could do some bitters, but then you wouldn't be strict carnivore. But that's okay. You might need to. You could do bile salts, but you really shouldn't do bile salts if you have a gallbladder. It really should be consumed if you don't have a gallbladder. But things like malic acid and lemon water and bitters are really good. Milk thistle are all good at breaking down, sludgy bile. Also turmeric, ginger in small amounts can be advantageous to break down. Massaging the gallbladder. Those are all symptoms of the carnivore flu. The gout, the hair falling out, the nausea when you're feeling bloated when you're eating a lot of meat, feeling extremely tired. That's from not adapting, not having enough fat, and eating too much protein. So look for bubbly pee. Loose stool is typically a release of either too much bile or just sludge stones. Constipation is from dehydration on a carnivore diet, and then eating a lot of meat because your body is used to insoluble fiber. And when you cut out the fiber, not that you need fiber to poop, but if your colon's used to it, you get locked up. And if you're not pooping out estrogen, you're not pooping out waste products. It's toxic to not poop. So whoever says it's normal to not poop needs to rethink what they're saying, right? Pooping is to get rid of what your body doesn't use and toxins, especially from the liver. And to be in ketosis, the liver must function properly. You don't damage the liver on high fat, but you don't really make ketones if the liver's jacked up. So go check your GFR. Those are the tests I think you should check. eGFR, check your A1C, blood sugar over a couple months, snapshot. Check your insulin, check your reproductive hormones. Thyroid, I'm not really down. I don't really care unless you're ticking low or really too high. Don't care about cholesterol panel. Completely useless. But the reproductive hormonal panel is really good to see if your testosterone is tanking, men on a carnivore diet, because you guys are not doing it correctly with enough information, because you've got people just willy-nilly doing it, and then I lost 60 pounds, but nobody tells you how much metabolic damage happens when you lose weight too quickly. So you want to lose weight no more than 1 to 2 pounds per week, or else you start losing muscle, tissue, collagen, your hormones, and you don't want to lose that. I hope this helps. Comment below if you've gone through the carnivore flu or the keto flu. Yes, I run a course where I cover all 3 diets, because not everybody can do carnivore or keto or low carb, high fat. So you can choose which one works for you. You can follow me on Instagram or my Facebook fan page, which is Stephanie the Business Person. You can sign up for the course through stephanieperson.com. Book a consultation, and I'm tired of sounding like a used car salesman. I got a ton of energy, but I'm physically knackered because I have been, I don't know, are they cuts on my hands? I've been doing barbed wire to keep animals out and animals in, and hot wire. So that 10 acres by myself, trying to stretch the wire by myself, has gutted me. So comment below, share this content. That's how people find me. Get ready for the challenge. Sign-ups will be coming soon. Now they have to, because I've made a promise to myself. And I'm out. Peace.